Hi there, wig lover. This is Heather from CysterWigs.com, and this is the Ready for Takeoff in the color shaded Biscuit RL19-23SS, Raquel Welch. With this really thick brow that I've made myself today, and this color and this style, you know, if I blur my eyes substantially, like if I squint a ton, if there were Vaseline all over this lens, I would be thinking I was having like an Edie Sedgwick kind of moment with this shirt and everything. It's kind of a fashion thing. I wanted to review this wig while I was wearing this outfit, which frankly I had planned to wear with New Wave by Tressalure. I just think it happens to look really cool with this too. So anyway, Ready for Takeoff is adorable. I really like this wig, and I tend not to be a huge fan of short wigs. I think the coverage on the side is really good. Now, of course, some of my bio hair is poking through, but this is a rooted color, so hey, that's pretty awesome. It blends in very nicely, and if anything, with my own sides blending in here, it makes it look more natural. And even though it's heat-friendly synthetic, it is a good length for something that's in a heat-friendly synthetic. So I'm gonna say that's a plus. I'm going to also say that I like the layering, I like the cut, I like the lace front. Hello, this is a good lace front. And I love the way Raquel Welch does their colors, where they have the lightest color in the mix right up against the edge of that lace, so that way it kind of melts right in. You don't have dark knots right up against your front hairline. That's beautiful the way that they pull that off. I also think that the nape is beautifully tapered. Whew, okay. So here is what my beef with this wig is, and it's kind of a nitpicky thing, but it's an important thing nonetheless. This wig is supposed to be 100% hand-tied. To me, that means no tracks. I'm also going to expect that any wig that's got a monofilament top in this price range is going to be single knotted all over the mono top, and that the back's going to be cluster knotted. So a little primer for folks who don't know what those terms mean. Essentially, here, let me grab this spare wig I've got. This is actually my Artemis that we've released. So the monofilament top, I mean, it's wefted in the back. So this is what I mean by wefts. You see all these tracks, they're wefts. In wigs, we call them in wigs, they're called wefts. In extensions, they're called tracks. Okay, but you can see up here, you know, that there's this mesh and there's this lace front, and every single hair on the top of this wig and on that lace front has been individually, kind of like embroidery in a way, been, you can see how this lace is kind of like a grid pattern, right? Well, what they do is they take teeny tiny little curved ventilation needles is what they call them. And why they call them that? But they call them ventilation needles. And they basically take that needle up through the monofilament and then they knot it. So one hair, one knot, very fine knots, you know, so you can still see the knots, but you can't see them in a super pronounced fashion. And you can see that up here at the front hairline of Ready for Takeoff, where single knotted, tiny little knots. But then when you get up here, and it's really noticeable on something like this shaded Biscuit because the knotting is that darker color. So you can see this wig is cluster knotted on top. It's cluster knotted on top. So, you know, if you look at it too closely on the top, it's gonna look a little bit more pronounced. The knots are gonna look a little bigger, they're gonna be a little farther apart, and they're going to look slightly pluggy. Not the best move for a wig. Definitely not the best move for a higher end wig. But I'm still gonna carry this wig and I'm still gonna sell it because it's cute. And as long as you know what you're getting into with that cluster knotting, then you're gonna be fine. right? Because I mean, the great news is that this wig has enough hair on top and is styled strategically enough that that shouldn't really be much of a problem. You should be able to conceal those knots, and frankly, had I not mentioned it specifically and then went to, you know, great pains to describe it in excruciating detail, would you have noticed it at all? But I'm looking out for you guys because I know as a wig wearer, particularly one that's going to invest in a hand-tied cap, that there are very specific things that I'm looking for, and if I don't get those, this is the reaction. I huff and I puff, and I send the wig right back to where it came from.
I do like the layering here on the sides. I've tucked some of it behind my ear. But you don't have to do that. I just thought it looked really cute that way, and it just sort of felt like a natural thing to do. I love the way that this is cut and angled in the back. It's sort of tapered here. It's a little sleeker in the back. Just really, really, really cute. It's kind of like a boy cut on this side. It also reminds me a little bit of the haircut the girl from Roxette had in the 90s. So I like this. I like it in this color. I think this is a great unisex cut. I'm really feeling it, and I'll probably keep this sample. I don't really have that many short wigs. I've been assessing my collection, my personal stash, and I realized I don't really have that many short wigs. I've got like Jet by Estetica.
But like I said, the pluses outweigh that minus because it's cute, it's comfortable, it's lightweight, it's easy to style with just your fingers. I mean, look at this. I haven't put any product in this. And it's just gonna stay there because it's heat friendly and the fiber's a little stiff. So there's a lot to love about this wig. The lace front in particular, very lovable, the length, you know. So if you could take the good, take the bad, and still like ready for takeoff when you're done, then I highly recommend her. So let me go ahead and show you the rest of the cap construction, and then I'll meet you back here in a few minutes.
To where the knotting is, so technically this is a double layer of material here with the knotting on the side facing out. So this is not a French drawn wig, even though there are 2 layers of mesh here. A French drawn wig would have chiffon that would approximate what a scalp would look like. This does not have that. That is very uncommon in synthetic wigs, by the way. Back here, we've got some tracks. So while this may be touted as a 100% hand-tied wig, just know that there are some tracks in the back. We do have an extended felt nape with Velcro adjusters. There is mesh that covers up the elastic here on the side, so be careful with that. You want to make sure you don't pull so hard that you pull this Velcro tab underneath the mesh. It's not impossible to get that out, but it is kind of a pain, so it's better to avoid it. The ear tabs, by the way, are felt, and they do have a little bit of metal, but they feel kind of flimsy on these. So just bear that in mind. This is not the most firm of an ear tab. She stays on really snug. But, and this blockhead has no occipital ridge, it kind of wants to pop out. You could tell that it's a little tight, so bear that in mind. This will probably fit true to average or even a little small on most people. So this again is the Ready for Takeoff. A good disc. My own villa in coffee lighted because I like the color.
So I hope you enjoyed that journey through the cap of this Ready for Takeoff wig. I feel so sad about the name of this wig, Ready for Takeoff. I miss the days when I could just hop on a plane. And I'd like to take a moment before I end this video to express my gratitude towards everybody who's watching. I hope you're staying healthy and safe right now.
I'd like to thank my husband Nigel for helping me clean all this stuff up at the end of the night. I'd like to thank my business partner John and my team at our warehouse for holding down the fort while I do stuff like this, because we get a lot done for such a short crew, and I'm really proud of all of us. I'm very proud of how far they've come and how much they've stepped up to help me be here for you, and I'm really grateful for that. And I want to thank my patrons on Patreon. It's just a lovely thing to know that you guys want to be here to support me. It's just such a meaningful gesture to me, and of course I just needed to take a moment to let you know that. Thank you for helping me make this content. It's really swell of you. Jinkies. So thanks everybody. I hope you have a great night, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye-bye.